Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at, well, the Dragon Ball Heroes challenge for the stage 6 of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes Red Zone against Hearts. Now you can use pretty much any Dragon Ball Heroes lead to run this team. The rest of this team is pretty much free to play. We are trying our best to create a free-to-play team that players can use. The challenge, the mission is to use 6 Dragon Ball Heroes characters, and if you run only the free-to-play units, unfortunately they're just not strong enough to be able to beat the event themselves. So you will need at least one lead, and you will need at least one, possibly any other kind of half-decent Dragon Ball Heroes unit. It is one of those things. It's a bit unfortunate. I did try a couple times with a fully free-to-play team. It just wasn't really that functional. Now, you do have some really strong free-to-play units, so that's fine, and you could definitely replace Robaloo with one. It just means you might fail a couple more times than others. Realistically, the big thing is you kinda have to, at some point, have a lead, that is a Dragon Ball Heroes unit. So that's probably the only big thing I would say, that you need to have a Dragon Ball Heroes lead. The friend lead, of course, we're taking a Rainbow Blue Vegito, I've been playing a lot of Legends. AGL, Super Saiyan 4, the full power, Limit Breaker, Xeno Vegito. And yeah, he's gonna pretty much hard to carry almost all of our damage to a certain point, obviously just being a really strong unit. Now the big mechanic here, or the big gimmick in terms of, like the actual Hearts fight, is the fact that Hearts essentially has this one-hit KO attack in his second phase, and the only real way to stop that is to seal his super attack. So by sealing his super attack, you can prevent him from firing off his one-hit KO. Now, in terms of team build, it's fairly obvious about which units we've gone with and why, but I think it's important to, basically take a look and kind of discuss a little bit about which units we want to run and why we chose certain units on the team. But I think for me, overall, there is always a question of prioritizing the build required for the boss. So we need to have sealers, definitely have sealers of a certain kind, and then from there we're able to kind of build out and change things a little bit. But yeah, so Dragon Ball Heroes is the category team. Realistically speaking, obviously the friend lead is the AGL Vegito, just great. He is going to be carrying a lot of our offensive payload, so obviously he's a 200% lead, which helps to accommodate our slightly lower lead skill, but he's huge, he's massive, big time damage, really strong defensively, especially in the first 6 turns, full crossover team, so he remains pretty strong defensively, and he has that huge crit chance, which is really good. The big thing is saving his active skill, because it obviously can do quite a big chunk of damage. We want to save his active skill, make sure we maintain it, and essentially keep his active skill, for, I would say, the second phase. You don't want to use it in the first phase, you want to keep it for the second phase. He'll do huge damage, and yeah, it's just, it's a very good unit, and he just totally hard carries the entire thing, which is fine. Again, really not an issue that he is. Next we have a fair chunk of free-to-play units. I would say we have a decent selection, which is all fine. I think you don't have to use free-to-play units, but I do think these units tend to help out quite a bit. So we have Arms, the AGL Arms, just a really solid unit, if not anything spectacular. Decent in the second phase because of the type advantage. Does need a couple of hits, but he can get those relatively easily. We will use some items to obviously keep us safe due to the lower stats and mainly the health pool we have on the team. A lot of them can actually tank normals quite fine, but the big issue is even with an item we'll take a lot of damage on supers, and we'll need to keep our health at a certain threshold. Then we have the Strength Tower, really just a pretty good unit. Her higher evasion chance, her support capabilities, her strength orb creating capabilities, just all good stuff. And she's got surprisingly decent defense after super, which at the end of the day is more than fine. Then we have Lags. Lags is great. Lags seals, which is very important, alongside as well with the Salsa, who also seals, is very, very important. So those are both very, very good. We took Salsa over Poutine largely due to the fact that he has built-in sealing, and he doesn't have type disadvantage. But yeah, Lags is pretty good, very conditional, a lot of conditional performances. You know, below 50% health she does more damage, below a certain threshold she fires more attacks. But in general, just a good unit, really, really solid and does a great job. Then we have, obviously, as mentioned before, Salsa, or Demon Prince, I think it is, or Demon God. Demon God Salsa, who's decent. Obviously, again, dependent on how much evasion he can proc, which is super important. The more he evades, the better he gets, but realistically speaking, his ability to seal super attacks is a very large, crucial component to how well we do, in terms of team build and everything. So, yeah, obviously super crucial, but without the ability to, get super attacked, we do have some control. Now, another irritating thing is obviously getting locked in place. I think that's something we have to accept to a certain degree. Being locked in place is not the best scenario, without a doubt. It can cause us a lot of problems, and with Robulu here you can see we almost lost due to it, which does give us a little bit of a headache, but at the end of the day she came through. Robulu obviously being great with healing, seeing super attacks, evasion, very strong defensive unit, and she came in clutch here. However, I would say you can use probably a lot of other options, just depending on what you've got. But you will need one of them. For example, if we'd had Poutine there, we probably would have died. But of course, you can just keep retrying, but yeah. Then we have Hearts, obviously as our lead on our side. Pretty solid unit, if not a unit that's a little bit up and down. I think overall he's great. I just think he has a little bit of inconsistency issues. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he does more than fine. Just realistically, is probably a bit outdated now. Still really solid and does a great job as our lead and 200% lead, so very, very helpful. But yeah, at the end of the day, we got everything done pretty easily and ended up not having that many issues, which I think is good. So yeah, that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, it's greatly appreciated. And yeah, that's basically gonna be it from me. So I will see you guys in the next one. That's it for the Super Dragon Ball Heroes Red Zone. I'll do some no item runs as well for every stage. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it from me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.